Can you actually make money with AI right now? I mean real money. Because if you look online, it feels like everyone's selling some magical systems. Launch a few tools, automate something, and suddenly you are rich. That's bullshit. But behind these curtains, there are real opportunities. The problem is, no one really explains them properly. They do not look flashy, and it's definitely not the one-click magic. So in this video, I want to show you one real example of my own workflow, how I am making money with 3D AI right now together with my team. I'm not just gonna talk about it while explaining, I'll show you the whole process of creating commercial asset pack from start to finish, how it gets made, why client actually pays for it, and how you can actually start to finding this kind of job yourself. Stick with me until the end and you're gonna love it. Okay, so let's start, and first we're gonna need to talk about what's happening around, about current context. Before we jump in, you're gonna enjoy my real workflow on the background. And the first step there is, of course, prompting, image creation, ideation. For me, that is still probably the longest and most difficult step. Well, it's also the most exciting one. You basically transforms thoughts into visual stuff, which later become 3D. For me personally, that's most of the time is ChatGPT plus stand-up and app. So going back to context, let me point out something significant of what's happened. You might hear from everywhere that now you can code your own website, you can code your own app, you can code anything with Claude Code, you can generate images, presentation, and much more. Image editing models are insane. Coding models are even more insane. Darius Amadeus says that programming will be sold in 6 to 12 months. And it's not only about website or apps, that's also about game engines. It's easier to create games in any engine because that's basically code, right? Even though there is not much AI agent plugged in Unity or Unreal Engine, AI can help you with every step to achieve any game logic you might imagine. That might not happen instantly, but we need to admit that the threshold is way lower than it was 5 years ago, and it's nothing to compare with what it was 15 years ago. And it means that more people actually start thinking that they can create something. And you cannot imagine how many people suddenly realize that they now can create their dream game. They're starting to learn how to create games, and their attempts are successful, which warms up it even more. And in the last 3 years, market care grew significantly. Huge wave of people who finally think they can build something themselves. But if you are from the industry, you know that it's not that easy yet, and there's a lot of things that they will face and might need help, and that's true. But for us, it also where opportunity lies. Like, I believe you already guessed that they might need some help with creating assets and stuff, and since they already building with AI, they're looking the way to create that with AI. And this is happening inside the market that is approaching $200 billion. So we're definitely not talking about a small niche. We do have a report saying that around 19,000 games was released in Steam in 2025. That means tens of thousands teams building something. And to prove it even more, I can refer to VGI Global Indie Games Market Report from 2024, and I believe now it's even more, that roughly 99% of games released on Steam are indie titles, and they basically generate 58% of all market revenue. Those are potentially your clients. And AI is insane right now. So let's quickly take a look on my workflow. When concept is done, it's time to create actual 3D models. For the recent months, we totally switched to Tripo AI since it's especially good in creating low poly models. So you can see some examples, and one of the coolest thing they recently released is like Tripo P1 that basically creates mesh in like 5 to 6 seconds. That's insane, and then you can texture it and process it. Some meshes are so good that we don't really need to tweak them at all. So generating unique 3D assets is so much easier right now. And of course, if you want to try it for yourself, there is a link in the description and you're gonna get extra free credits if you use it. Right now, in my opinion, this tool is the best. But why game developers or enthusiasts just don't use Tripo by themselves if that's so easy? Well, it's easy when you know what you're doing. And if you're an artist, you might be struggling to understand people who are not an artist. You see, when you're building game, you think about game, about the mechanics, about the logics, about the levels. And then suddenly you have that idea of the location that you need to build. And of course, you played a lot of AAA games and you saw like how beautifully made they can be. And the first time you try to build that much of assets, you face a lot of struggles. First of all, AI generated assets might be really good, but there might be that 10-20% imperfection that you just don't know how to tackle. Let's say PBR map is imperfect, some small artifacts on geometry, or you want some glowing effects like emission map. Also, people tend to underestimate that if you're building a whole location, the asset pack might include like 20, 30, 50 or hundreds of unique small props that you need to place around to make it really look good. And to make this bunch of assets coherent, that can be difficult. So referring to the first step, that's why I'm saying this is quite important. And I do have a team and I have quite a lot of talented guys. And I know for sure not everyone knowing all the tools or even having access to all of them will be able to create nice, coherent asset pack from which you can assemble really nice game level, for example. And this is what they are ready to pay for. To someone who can use these tools and unblock them fast, create these asset packs with AI, adjust them a little bit, and so forth. And in my workflow, this is exactly what happened. We export everything from Tripo. We don't really sit down fixing mesh. There might be some problems. With basic 3D skill, that is very easy to address. But you might spend some time to adding that small details like emission map, one of my favorite, or tackling PBR stuff. Sometimes we drop it in Substance Painter and add this additional polishing. Those additional 30 minutes you spend might make this asset look really AAA. And for those who work with characters, there is even more opportunities, like creating modular character, animating faces and stuff. And everything that I said, I believe a lot of people will confirm in the comments. I was actually checking a lot of videos on the similar topic, and I saw like professional 3D artists tend to complain that many people comes to them not to create something nice, but to fix AI generated. And yeah, that's the truth. While I also prefer to take a concept as an input and take care about this 3D AI generation myself because I know better tools to use. And very important notice is that they don't really care that you use AI. They basically looking for those who use AI. There is GDC 2025 report that says almost half of the developers work in the companies using AI and 36 of them actually use AI personally. While the environment is still sort of negative, this becomes undeniable. Going back to my workflow, you'll see how we prepare it, for example, for CG Trader. And we, of course, market as AI generated, and that's more than welcome. You can sell AI generated content on Fab as well. That's basically our new reality. That's inevitable and we don't need to hide it. We just need to use it right. And here is my real experience. Only in this year, in last 3 months, I got more than 10 requests from game studios or solo game developers or even some enthusiasts learning about game development to help with assets, and some actually became a very huge projects. Unfortunately, they connected me not because I'm delivering quadruple A quality. They actually wanted me to create assets using AI. And that's pure true. They provide us with the ideas, we create assets fast, we tackle them until perfection. We do use our skills and knowledge about 3D to do that even faster and add that additional polishing magic that makes AI generated asset look incredibly well. And that works. Both of us are happy. While this is sad and a lot of people in the industry loses their job, we face it such a big demand that we even beated our personal records in income. The asset pack that I was creating on the background might take you 1-2 days to complete if you use right AI tools and if you have enough skills to polish and fix them. And you can easily sell that work for 300, 400 or 500 depending on how fast it needed and how strong your creative skills are. And for developers, that's also a very good deal. Before, same asset pack might cost thousands and might take way longer than 1-2 days. Asset packs on marketplaces such CG Trader or Fab might cost actually the same, depending on how unique they are. Like they can reach 100, 150, 200. But for developers now, you can offer slightly higher price for absolutely unique piece of art. Because that's the coolest side of AI. You can imagine anything any location, any props, any style, and within 1-2 days you already have them in the game. I have big video about how I created the whole game level in very unique style with just 1 day with me and my brother. Of course we know how to do it, but the most routine part, such as building up the mesh, is almost solved. And for this, game developers, that make perfect sense, because according to GDC reports from 2025, more than half of developers are self-funding their projects. So you can imagine they really care about cost, speed, and getting something usable without blowing the budget. Here's the final points of my workflow. Look how cool these assets look in actual game. It's not a random model, it's a coherent asset pack in unique style. This is exactly what people are paying for. And finally, now let me tell you how to actually find those clients. This might be a very difficult question, but it's also a very simple question. While someone looking for the job, there are people looking for this job to be done. And there's 2 things that will definitely help you to find your opportunity. The first one, look in right place. If you try to look such opportunities where you usually do, you might see that everyone just complaining that everything is bad and there's less need of 3D artists, or it will be very difficult to find one. And since the official environment is still negative, a lot of platforms that prefer to skip that. While in the same time there are communities talking about it openly. For example, on Reddit, there is Topology AI thread where people post about 3D and AI. There is Discord communities such as my own where people share what they create with 3D AI, and in same time there's a lot of developers coming there to know things or two, or to find people who can help them. I know some people who posted what they created on Reddit once and immediately received offer to join a team to create assets with AI. In my Discord channel, there's plenty of people who shared their work, was connected by some developers or game studios, and eventually hired for high-paying commission works. And of course, I'm the same example. I show what I create and people find me. And here you already might guess the second most important thing is to show what you create. That's really important. There's a lot of places where you can do that for free. Like in my Discord channel, there is my friend Pixel Artistry. He also have very big community in Discord. There are a lot of indie game developers, forums and stuff. Show what you created. And of course you can post on X. That might not happen overnight, but trust me, if you do that for a month, you will be amazed how many opportunities there are. In reality, client doesn't start with a job post. They start with seeing something cool and then realizing they need help or assistance. So this is the kind of results I'm talking about. A full asset pack in one style, ready to help a developer move faster. That's why this opportunity is real. More people are trying to build games, and a lot of them need usable assets quickly. If you learn how to work in that gap between raw AI output and usable production assets, there is a lot of opportunities for you. That's one of the real ways I'm making money with 3D AI today. See you in the next video.